You know, I mean, I know WWE has kind of a policy for not showing too much blood on their broadcast, but we saw a bloodbath today. It was just all contained within Cody Rhodes' chest. One of the most incredible visuals, I would say, in a main event that we've seen in quite some time in the WWE.
Yeah, shocking in many ways. It's, I think, going to be a match that is going to be one of those historical matches in company history. I think it's going to be the defining match that people are going to associate with Cody Rhodes, not just for this run moving forward, but I think just in his career. And I have a lot of mixed feelings about the match, but like watching it, I mean, it was incredibly uncomfortable, but at the same time, incredibly compelling, and one that, I mean, listen, it sounds crazy. I also understand why he went ahead and did it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no doctor. I cannot tell you what the risks are of doing something like that. At least, as like what sort of permanent damage somebody might be risking when they are having a professional wrestling performance with a pec looking in that state. I can at least hope that there were doctors back there that cleared him for a performance like this. And hopefully he can still make a full recovery coming off of it. I will say, it is not, to me at least, as concerning as concussion issues or neck issues. We're talking about muscle here. But again, I'm no doctor, so I can't necessarily say for sure.
Yeah, so just to bring everyone up to speed, Cody Rhodes suffered a torn pectoral muscle. It's true if you happen to watch tonight's main event. And so this news, I first heard about this possibility on around Saturday afternoon, and in checking around in it, like that was the word going around, that he had suffered a torn pec, and he had been scheduled on Saturday night for a house show in Champaign, Illinois, ironically the hometown of Tony Khan, to be taking on Seth Rollins. And then that match was changed around with Rollins working with Drew McIntyre. And then if you saw the video, Cody Rhodes just did a very brief run-in. He was there at the building, but he came out in his suit, so you didn't see the arm or anything like that. And he did do like very basic physicality. And then going into today, Dave Meltzer had reported that it happened when he was lifting weights. And then WWE opened the broadcast on the kickoff show and just fully acknowledged the injury. And we can pull up their exact wording because they used the same statement over and over again on the kickoff show and then when it started. So Cody Rhodes suffered a partially torn right pectoral tendon during a brawl with Seth Rollins this past Monday on WWE Raw. While weight training in preparation, the tendon tore completely off the bone. However, Rhodes has vowed to still step inside Hell in a Cell tonight. So that was from the WWE side of that. There would have been a partial tear on Monday and then working out a full tear. I don't know if you would have wanted to have been lifting weights when you have a slight tear, but a full tear, obviously, this is a much more significant injury now.
Could that part just be them wanting to attribute the injury to Rollins for storyline purposes?
I have no idea. I don't know. It very well could be accurate. I don't know. But a full tear, now you're looking at surgery, and we won't know the timetable. I mean, there have been, back in 2007, John Cena fully tore his pec right at the beginning of October, and he made that miracle recovery and came back at the Royal Rumble the following January. Hunter, at that Saudi Arabia show, teaming with Shawn Michaels, tore his pec. That was the beginning of November 2018, and he did WrestleMania by April. So, I mean, it's always tough when you're talking surgery. It's once they get in there, what they're dealing with. So it would be just pointless to try and guesstimate any kind of timetable. But I mean, that's looking like it's going to need surgery, and it's going to be some time for Cody, which is really tough. I mean, this is, especially when you watch tonight, this was a big show. As much as we look at the lineup for this, they had a great event. They sold out the Allstate Arena, and this was your main event, and Cody certainly felt like no question the biggest babyface this company has at the moment.
Yeah, and I think all the more reason why we see that he, did what he did and chose to go ahead with this despite the injury. If it was a match on the card that didn't have the show's gimmick attached to it, if it was not the main event, I mean, I don't necessarily know if we would see, at least we might have seen some sort of performance, but I mean, for Cody Rhodes, fresh out of into the company and wanting to really establish himself as the guy. You can understand all the pressures behind him wanting to deliver not just an appearance on this show, but a performance of a lifetime.
25 minutes.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. So, again, I'm no doctor. I can't tell you like what sort of operation is required to heal something like this. Is there a chance that, a bit of ice will hopefully heal this? I don't know. But if it was torn right off the bone, I suppose
it needs to be reattached. Yeah. So, I would guess that that aspect of things will be addressed on Raw tomorrow night, and maybe we're going to get, unfortunately, another one of those speeches that we just had one with CM Punk. That now WWE's top babyface is going to be down for some amount of time.
Can a wrestler just have a week of the news cycle to themselves without some other wrestler coming and taking over with some other major change and event? Yeah, a very unfortunate string of injuries right now happening in professional wrestling. But I guess it forces the WWE to have to come up with different plans, because now, do they bring Roman back a bit earlier? Do they move somebody over to Raw to fulfill that babyface?
My guess, not knowing anything, my guess would be like even more of a relaxing of the brand split. I just think it needs to be done. If you're looking at Cody not being there on Raw, that show is so focused on him at the moment with no championship. And I have no issue with that. I think that this brand split, there is no integrity to the brand split to be maintaining. You're only hurting yourself by keeping these rosters separate. So, but at the same time, it's not like we have this giant wave of baby faces that we can just bring in from SmackDown either. This is a company that is very low on baby faces and is losing its biggest one now for an undetermined period of time. So it's going to be tough when you have like these big shows coming up this summer. It's in some ways a very lucrative time in the era of fixed income, that you don't have that same kind of pressure, but nonetheless, you are still trying to fill these stadiums and keep your audience engagement on your 3-hour flagship show on Monday nights. It's going to take, I think, some a shuffling of the cards, so to speak, of what they have and what is available to them at the same token. Like if Cody was not able to go ahead tonight, you did not have a main event unless you just hot-shotted something and threw something onto this show for Rollins to, you press the Brock button and get him or something. It's not like this felt like a UFC card that was all on the main event. And if the main event falls through, you can't go ahead with the pay-per-view. Like they really did not have much of a show if you lost this cell match.
I mean, they were, no pun intended, all in on this main event as the sole attraction. I mean, I think there was some interest in the Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair and Asuka three-way, but when you have only one Hell in a Cell match and this was it, all the more pressure. And
nearly 13,000 people in this arena. It's like, like this, they did very well with this show, and you have to attribute some of that to Cody and Seth, because it wasn't.
I think you attribute it all on Cody Rhodes, honestly. Like Seth Rollins is great, but to me, this is hardly a hot feud in that we've seen a guy go 2-0 here. And I feel like if it was anybody but Cody who has that freshness and that attachment to that Chicago crowd, and of course the gimmick of the Hell in a Cell itself as well, I don't know how this would have done.
Yeah, like they did move a lot of tickets before any matches were announced, but there was further demand once they announced Cody and Seth, and that was the clear number one main event.
I mean, so to me, the question is, there's a chance that this person, might be more injured after today than he was going into this, and that maybe the recovery time might have been extended. But was it worth it to arguably make what feels like the hottest babyface that this company has had in quite some time coming out of this?
See, not 9 times out of 10, I am always approaching this as the person on the other side of the fence. I'm not thinking about this like a wrestler that has a sold out arena with his name on the marquee. And looking at that, I mean, my gut is to say it would never be worth like that risk. But watching that performance tonight and what the legend of this match will be for Cody's career, he very well may have had the mindset, again, a non-medical professional opinion of it's already completely torn. I can't more completely tear it.
I'm going to have surgery no matter what.
Let's go out in a blaze of glory. I'm facing surgery. I've done the worst I can do to this already. Now, and the return on that is this performance that it's like, this is going to be an all-time remembered performance. I don't, like, in this era, you are never going to replicate something Mick Foley did inside Hell in a Cell, and I'm glad that we're never going to see that replicated. This is the closest thing to it. I think this is going to be your second most remembered Hell in a Cell performance.
Yeah, time will tell about something like that, but it's hard to, I would say, live up to the very lofty standards of a Mick Foley Hell in a Cell or a Shawn Michaels Hell in a Cell for that.
It's those two cell matches, and then I think this one that is going to be in people's immediate memory. Like this one, you just feel WWE is going to legendize this match, if we can borrow a Dusty term there. But like this will be what Cody is always attached to. And for those that maybe saw him as, the guy just in the suit every week, like this was just the ultimate gritting, like Hunter going through it with the torn quad, and how that was But
this was way more visual, wasn't it? Because we didn't know.
There was no visual with Hunter's. It was only after the fact that you knew what he was going through. And again, that was turned into this legendary performance.
I mean, they not only that, they crafted the entire match around it, down to the incredibly dramatic reveal coming off of the entrance, and basing the entire match working around what looks to be a real injury. So, yeah, we'll dive deeper into the match a bit later on.